Hey everybody, Charlie here. I'll wait for a few minutes to see if people can start trickling in. I see that I'm live, so I'll just start the video recording and basically let everybody know the reason I was compelled to make this video today. Actually, I made a couple videos the last couple weeks that I never actually uploaded, and basically I've been using really primitive technology, such as my cell phone, uploading videos and whatnot. Every once in a while I'll take a little bit of time to jump on my computer and kind of show, hey, what's going on. It's nice to see that people are starting to trickle in already. Got paradoxine oxide. I don't know if I'll ever try that because it sounds kind of intense. Sure. Anyways, so just to kind of give you an idea of what I'm wanting to go over on this is basically there's a lot of stuff that we sorry, let me get my thoughts together. Okay, so the bottom line is we've been going through a lot of stuff with all this stuff that's been happening in the world, and obviously there's a lot of people talking about it, a lot of speculation, a lot of crazy people, a lot of people that are asleep, and honestly it's kind of gut-wrenching, some of the stuff that I've been seeing lately, because all I want to do is talk to people about the C-19 stuff and the economic instability that we just haven't seen how bad our economy is yet. I mean, they've been pulling money out of nowhere lately, but that's the only way that we've been able to stabilize what's going on with the economy. So if you can bear with me, I'm actually I'm going to start getting into a few things that are relevant to the reason I'm actually doing a live stream right now. So I started making a couple videos. My phone crapped out and the videos just didn't come out. So I spent like 20 minutes trying to upload a video or record a video, I should say. Did I know that the number 19 translates to AI? What do you mean by that? No, 19 translates to AI. Anyways, and there's going to be more people trickling in here. Obviously, I kind of did this on a whim, but it's really important, and I wanted to take some time right now to kind of get in to some of the stuff that I've come across. Now, I did make kind of a documentary I pieced together with a lot of other content creators information, and I believe I called it the New World Order. Honestly, that word, the bots are, they don't like that, and they're going to trigger it and put like what do they call it? There was like an advertisement for the New World Order under a video that I mentioned the New World Order in. So anyways, they're trying to educate people away from the conspiracy side of things. So let's see. So 1 equals A, 9 equals I. Okay. 19 in reference to what? I'm just curious. Anyways, I'm not really tracking where you're going with that, but so anyways, I'm just going to say that. So I put this video out there talking about the modern day mark of the beast. Now, with all the stuff that I've been looking into lately, it seems like I've stumbled onto some information that is almost certainly like some serious deception going on in the world. Now, I not only that, but I've seen a lot of patterns that point to a lot of the Bible prophecy. Now, these prophecies I really wanted to point out, because a lot of people are saying, "Oh, the mark of the beast," or whatever. And honestly, I wanted to kind of go over. Oh yeah, COVID-19. That makes sense. Oh, it's funny. I actually, based on what you're saying, I actually somebody sent me a link that I wanted to point out. What was it? Oh yeah, I remember now. It's funny. So, and again, I'm going to try to be as discreet as possible. But I have this meme or whatever that, or this, can you see it? My phone is glaring. Sorry, it's hard to, okay. If you can't see it, it says COVID. C stands for certificate. O stands for of. V stands for vaccination. And then ID is identification. So COVID. So certificate of vaccination ID. And that kind of, it definitely goes along with what I'm trying to say. It was hard to see on the camera, but this thing is basically, see if I can try it again here. Sorry, it's hard to control my phone. Here, let's try it up close here. Here we go. So, certificate of vaccination identification. And that's going to get into exactly what I'm talking about on this, because basically there is an agenda with all that's happening with the world. Now, I try not to project like I'm all-knowing, because really I'm not all-knowing. I'm just willing to look at information that is right out in front of us, And some people are just so, drawn into what the mainstream media is saying, and so drawn into what the government's telling them that, that's kind of the way we were programmed. So anyways, I just wanted to kind of point out what a lot of the people are saying about this mark of the beast, because a lot of people, again, I try not to get too preachy and project my belief system on everything, because honestly, my channel is about trying to understand things from as openly and realistically as possible when it comes to truth, and trying not to be too biased in your thinking. So, so as far as a bias is concerned, I am biased, and I'll admit it all day long, that I was raised into a belief system of Christianity. Now, in a lot of ways, Christianity kind of has a stigma nowadays, because people are very judgmental and hypocrites and whatever. And I'm not going to disagree that there's a lot of people out there like that. But anyways, I just want to say that there is something in the Bible that talks about there's going to be a separation of the sheep and the goats. And the sheep are the ones that are considered the true followers, and the goats are the ones that are they're not authentic, I guess you could say. Or maybe they're that's the best way I can explain it. But as far as the separation of the sheep and the goats, I feel like I'm totally losing my train of thought. I gotta pop this up here. If you ask me, the alien grays have the military, this implant tech, i.e. fallen angels. I'm going to get into that. I'm not so much talking about the alien or the grays or whatever. That could play into it. But I'm actually going to just kind of point out a lot of the things that are right out in the open as far as us for what we can see. Now, the grays, kind of, and again, my perspective on what the grays are isn't necessarily extraterrestrial. I actually feel like they're interdimensional. So, and again, there's probably different types of entities. And when we look at things historically speaking, I think that the angels or the demons or whatever, they actually play into this whole thought process, because the angels and the demons are like the good and the bad side of these entities that are coming from outside of our realm, you might say. So anyways, that's kind of a rat trail, because I personally I want to get this information out there as far as the mark of the beast. So let me just kind of start by I'm going to share my screen here, and I'm going to show you. So in the book of Daniel, chapter 7, it talks about this vision, or this dream that Daniel had. It says basically the description of his dream is that he said, in my vision at night I looked, and there before me was were the four winds of heaven churning up the great sea. Four great beasts, each different from the others, came up on the sea. The first was like a lion, and it had the wings like an eagle. I watched until its wings were torn off, and it was lifted from the ground so that it stood on 2 feet, like a human being, and the mind of a human was given to it. Now, the reason I'm reading this is because it actually is relevant, because the beast is in the book of Revelation. These are 4 beasts in the book of Daniel. And the book of Revelation, chapter 13, actually talks about a 7-headed beast with 10 horns, when actually this is the same. I'll get into that in a second. I'll kind of shine light on what you're what I'm talking about. So the first was like a lion, and it had eagle's wings, and watched it until the wings were torn off, and it was lifted up off the ground and stood on 2 feet like a human. I'm not going to really interpret this. I mean, I have a little bit of an interpretation as to what that actually represents, but just remember symbology. A lot of this stuff is symbolic. I'm just going to say one thing about, I'll touch on this in a second. And there before me was a second beast, which looked like a bear, and it was raised up on one of its sides, and it had 3 ribs in its mouth between its teeth, and it was told, "Get up and eat your fill of flesh." After that I looked, and there before me was another beast, one that looked like a leopard, and on the back it had 4 wings like those of a bird. This beast had 4 heads, and it was given the authority to rule. After that, in my vision at night, I looked, and there before me was the 4th beast, terrifying and frightening and very powerful. And it had large iron teeth, and it had crushed and devoured its victims and trampled underfoot wherever it was left. It was different from all the former beasts, and it had 10 horns. While I was thinking about this, about the horns, there before me was another horn, a little one, which came up among them, and 3 of the first horns were uprooted before it, and the horn had eyes like the eyes of a human being, in the mouth that spoke boastfully. Okay, so I'm going to kind of skip ahead a little bit. Now, you could kind of read over this, kind of skim over it, but I'm kind of wanting to skip ahead to the interpretation of the dream. I, Daniel, was troubled in spirit, and the visions that passed through my mind disturbed me. I approached one of those standing there and asked him the meaning of this. So he told me, and he gave me the interpretation of these things. The 4 great beasts are 4 kings that will rise from the earth but the holy people of the Most High will receive the kingdom and will possess it forever. Yes, forever and ever. Okay, so real quick, I'll just read this. Then I wanted to know the meaning of the fourth beast, which was different from the others and most terrifying, with the iron teeth and bronze claws, the beast that crushed and devoured its victims and trampled underfoot whatever was left. I also wanted to know about the 10 horns on its head and about the other horns that came up before three of. Okay, anyways, here's the deal. So this is Daniel chapter 7. It's talking about these four beasts that come up out of the sea. Now, a lot of people probably aren't aware, but the sea actually represents people. And as far as the interpretation goes, they're saying these beasts are actually kings or kingdoms, also known as governments, right? So, these beasts are symbolic of actually what these kingdoms represent. So now I'm going to say right now, I think that some of the symbology actually does ring a bell on some of the stuff that I've seen in my life. So here we have, the first was like a lion, and it had the wings of an eagle. Now, if you actually consider a kingdom that is like a lion, and it had wings of an eagle, and I watched the wings get torn off. So I'll just say right now, if you actually take any country in the world that a lion represents the country. In fact, I'm just going to randomly pull this up and see if I can come up with this. So country that is represented by a lion. I'm just going to see what it says. And again, I don't know for sure. Let's see, royal family. Okay, this is not exactly going as to my plan here. Maybe let me just say it this way. I think the United Kingdom, let's see, lion, country, oops, that's this county. Actually, I'll just say it this way. Sorry, guys. So United Kingdom animal symbol. Three lions are the symbol for England. Okay, so I don't know. Some of the stuff I look into is fairly speculative. So, anyways, let's see if I can flip back here. Where did it go? Oh yeah. Okay, so Daniel's dream was the four beasts. Now I'm going to flip over to Revelation 13. It says the beast out of the sea, dragon. So previous to this was Revelation chapter 12. Now, Revelation chapter 12 is talking about, in fact, I'll just flip back real quick here. See if I can. So the woman and the dragon, this is a great sign in the heavens. Talking about the red dragon going after the woman who's pregnant and after the man-child. Again, this is all symbology. If you go to 13, it talks about this, the dragon. Okay, it's talking about the dragon still from Revelation 12. The dragon stood on the shore of the sea, and I saw a beast coming out of the sea. And it had 10 horns and 7 heads, and the 10 crowns on its head, or I'm sorry, crowns on its horns, and on each head a blasphemous name. The beast I saw resembled a leopard, but had feet like those of a bear, and a mouth like that of a lion. Oh, I never finished my thought about the lion. So the lion had eagle's wings, and the wings were torn off. Well, the eagle represents the U.S. And so, again, a lot of the symbology is kind of up in the air. We don't really know. It's a lot of speculation. But I'm pretty sure that this Revelation 13 it's talking about a vision that John had. And John was seeing this 7-headed beast with 10 horns and 10 crowns. And obviously it's talking about all of those other beasts that were in Daniel chapter 7 combined into one. So this is the idea that people get the New World Order out of, or the, the one world government, right? So, so this one world government, now, I'm not going to say right now. I'm going to tell you right now that the 7-headed beast with 10 horns is not the mark of the beast. It's actually the next beast that comes along after. So, in other words, when you think of the phoenix, the fiery bird. So basically, when there's destruction, and then this fiery bird rises out of the ashes. So basically, after catastrophe comes order. So the New World Order, honestly, I think that the New World Order is going to implement this catastrophic event, that out of the ashes, the phoenix will rise. And now, when it talks about, then I saw a second beast coming out of the earth. This is verse 11. It had 2 horns like a lamb, and it spoke like a dragon. Now, it exercised all of the authority of the first beast on its behalf, and it made the earth and its inhabitants worship the first beast, whose fatal wound had. Okay, so anyways, if you actually read further, it goes on to say, okay, so the second beast was given the power to give breath to the image of the first beast, and so that it could speak and cause all who refused to worship the image and be killed, and to be killed. It also forced all the people, great and small, rich and poor, free and enslaved, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads, so that they could not buy or sell unless they had the mark, which is the name of the beast and the number of its name. This calls for wisdom. Let the person who has insight calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, the number 666, or 666. So really, I'm just kind of giving an overview as to the purpose of why people actually make reference to this beast system, or the mark of the beast, or the New World Order. They're all based on Revelation chapter 13. Okay, so now I'm really just trying to get lay groundwork as to what I'm going to talk about next. So I'm not even looking at my stream, so I'm going to check in real quick here just to make sure I'm not ignoring anybody. Oh, whoops. Okay. So I'm just going to take a quick break to read some of these comments here. Paradoxine oxide. Okay. Sounds like America's being overthrown. You know, I can't help but think that that's a good possibility. And it's not that they're being overthrown by another country as much as they are being overthrown by the deep STATE. I don't want to use trigger words. But anyways, oh, that's an interesting point. Google flag lion. You know, a lot of these things, a lot of the powers of the world, you know, could be companies. They could be power elites, or, you know, the people that are rich and wealthy, such as Bill, Mr. Gates himself. But you know, I'm going to get into that. If you haven't seen that video that I made last, that was so conveniently deleted from YouTube, freaking bastards. Oh, what's up, Woody? I'm glad you showed up. So, anyways, Woody, if you just stopped by, I am going to recap a little bit. I was just reading Daniel chapter 7 out of the Bible, and it was talking about the four beasts that were the kings, or the kingdoms that were basically given power, and they were the same thing as the seven-headed beast with 10 horns, just separated. So they were like different beasts. Anyways, so just real quick, I'm going to flip back to Revelation. Let's see. So Revelation 13 was the seven-headed beast, and then it goes on to talking about this other beast that had two horns like a lamb, but it spoke like a dragon. This is the beast that is not affiliated with the seven-headed beast with 10 horns. But the seven-headed beast with 10 horns was the world government, basically. They were assembled together as all the four beasts of Daniel 7 in one beast. So that's the new world order, right? So now this other beast that comes out of the earth has all the power, but that it no longer requires the government systems of all these different entities, or the 10 horns, or the seven heads, or whatever. There's different government systems that combine. But in this case, the next beast is one government system with two horns, which is actually talking about the Antichrist and the false prophet. Now, I'm not going to read that far into it, but basically they're saying that, you know, the image will be, they'll be forced to worship the image of the first beast, which is the seven-headed beast with 10 horns. And then basically if they don't take the mark on the right hand or their foreheads, that they cannot buy or sell. And basically the number is 666. Now, keep that, you know, put that on a shelf, and then you can kind of see the next point that I want to make here. Now, if you weren't familiar with this already, we have Microsoft Technology Licensing put out a patent for WO 2020-060606. This is a cryptocurrency system using body activated or activity data. Now, I'll tell you right now, they're talking about, here, I'm going to flip over here now, this contact tracing. Forgive my computer, I'm not actually up and moving quickly here. So they're talking about, you know, all the cell phones are going to get contact tracing, so that they can start tracking everybody and see if they're exposed to this this freaking COVID or whatever. So I didn't really pull up the page I wanted to see here, but you kind of get the point. They're starting a surveillance network so that they can start tracking everybody. Now, the point that I'm trying to make with this cryptocurrency system using body activity data, which I didn't happen to pull this up yet, but the thing that I believe, let me see if I can read through some of this real quick here. A lot of this is very cryptic speech, but human body activity associated with a task provided to a user may be used in a mining process of a cryptocurrency system. Now, again, I believe that this has to do with this. MasterCard joins blockchain Digital Identity Alliance, ID 2020. So this patent right here is for ID 2020. So basically, the thing that I think they're either trolling us or this is just an unusual coincidence. But WO 2020 060606. Those who have wisdom calculate the number of the beast. Now, I'm not saying that this is anything yet. Really, we're just in the preliminary stages of this cryptocurrency system using body activity data. So I wish I would have pulled up that screen that showed Bill Gates pointing out that they're going to use nano tattoos to show what vaccinations you've received. And I believe that this is going to be something where unless you, and again, I've talked to people that say, oh, the government's never going to force vaccinate us. Never going to force vaccinate us. But if that's true, maybe they don't have to. Maybe they're going to say, oh, well, there's consequences if you don't. We're going to take you and put you in a camp or somewhere where you could be isolated from humanity. And then the other thing is you could either be fined or be forced to stay in your own home. Now, this body activated activity data will actually be using, and I'll just tell you right now, this company, okay, so NASA has a lot of subsidiaries or like, you know, they sub out a lot of work. I'm not going to name names because I'm afraid that I am putting myself and my family at risk. And I know it sounds stupid to say that, but the reality is I have signed documents that say if you share the sensitive data, this is for my job, by the way, that we could you could either be fined or jailed if you leak any of the information that's sensitive. Now, I don't want to even say that I know who it is because I do, but they are very involved with what's happening with the technology. You know, they're building an infrastructure for this transfer of data, and MasterCard and Visa both are now part of this blockchain digital identity alliance for ID 2020, right? So they're trying to eliminate cash, and they'll probably say it's because they don't want to transfer any kind of disease through cash or money exchange. It's all going to be digital now. And it could be a dollar-based system, I don't know, but that's irrelevant. But according to This it says that cryptocurrency system, cryptocurrency. So I mean, obviously the like Bitcoin and different cryptos are gaining more value than even the dollar. The dollar is just constantly losing value. So anyways, so let me quickly just show. I'm going to flip back to my stream so that I can kind of check in with you guys again. Hey. So, okay. See that a couple of you guys are still here. I appreciate you sticking around. And again, I don't really, I'm not doing this so that I can be live necessarily, but I think it's necessary so that, if, YouTube decides to freaking cut my video off, at least this way I could have a live stream where people can hear me in the moment. But anyways, maybe after this goes to recording, it's probably going to get deleted, but who knows. It seems like my videos are starting to get deleted because I'm talking about this stuff. So let's see. This is saying 3 beasts, 1 of sea, 1 of land, and air, I guess. Okay. Okay, yeah. I don't know exactly what you're referring to there, but I think that you're probably saying something that was made reference to in Daniel chapter 7. Anyways, so going back to so we got the digital cryptocurrency system using body activity data. And I forgot to say contact tracing. What was it? Trying to remember 6666. Yeah. See what it says here. Oh yeah. Contact tracing is HR 6666. That is the number. And it's kind of pathetic to me that these things are it's almost like they're either throwing it into our face or mocking us or trolling us or whatever. House bill calls for 6666 for contact tracing. It's so silly to me. Okay, so I'm just going to say right now, when we're talking in terms of revelation, saying that let the person who has, right here, it says, where to go? Let's see. Yeah, right here, to receive a mark on the right hand or the forehead. So I'm going to say right now that the digital nano tattoo that shows what kind of it's a tracking device that they implant in your hand, and I think they'll probably do the RFID chip. Who knows? But they're starting to want to track us so much that they're going to want not just proof that you have a vaccine, but this is going to be your ID. It's going to be your digital ID. And it's not just for vaccines. It's not just for whether you're going to get sick or not. It's so they can monitor us, right? So so this that's the hand part of it. And the next part is the foreheads. Now I want to get into that real quick. So Elon Musk says there's a chance that his AI brain chip company will be putting implants in humans within a year. And guess what? This is called Neuralink. Now, if you're not familiar with this, Neuralink AI brain chip company, spearheaded by Tesla and SpaceX CEO Elon Musk, would be ready to put a version of its implant in a person within a year, Musk said when recently speaking to Joe Rogan's podcast. Okay. So Neuralink, which was funded in 2016, is Musk's neural technology company that developed an implant designed to interface directly with the human brain. This is transhumanism coming to life. I didn't really give a lot of credence to transhumanism before, but now I'm like, what the hell? All these people talking about transhumanism for so long is they're trying to make us like freaking cyborgs or something. And I think the vaccinations thing, in a lot of ways, I think they started doing these flu shots and stuff. And again, this is my speculation. The flu shots were something that they wanted people to get and they were pressuring, but they didn't want to force anybody. Now they're getting to a point right now where they're going to try to force people. Maybe not so much force like they'll pull someone in a room and stick a needle in their arm, but they're going to make us choose whether we want to eat or get vaccinated. And that's kind of the way I'm seeing it. Or have freedom or get vaccinated. Because they're going to freaking isolate us if we don't. Because we can't buy or sell if we don't. That's kind of the thing that Revelation was talking about. So this thing right here is putting a freaking brain chip in your brain. Now, I'm going to see if I can skip ahead. They don't have the picture here. Maybe I'll pull it. I heard that Neuralink has a robotic arm that looks like a scorpion. You spell that right? Yeah. Neuralink scorpion robot. Okay, let's see what it says. Oh, I didn't spell it right. Okay. Where the heck is it? I don't even know if they freaking shared it yet. So I saw it on another video, and it was like this. Is it this thing? Yeah, it's this thing. So there's like this robotic arm here that will literally implant this chip in your brain. Let's see if I can pull it up here. I'm discovering this with you guys because I didn't actually. So what this is saying is that they want to freaking wire our brains into the internet. So it's like we're going to upload our brains to the cloud. So if you get a memory chip or some sort of RFID chip in your right hand, and then you get this freaking thing in your brain or on your forehead, it seems like there's something to this revelation proposition. You know what I'm saying? So I'll just read this real quick. Elon Musk aspires to make inserting a computer connection into your brain as safe and painless as LASIK eye surgery. On Tuesday evening, Neuralink, a company in which Mr. Musk has invested $100 million, detailed baby steps into taking forward that goal. Neuralink described a sewing machine-like robot that can implant your ultra-thin threads deep into the brain. Are you flipping kidding me? Really? If you don't see something funky about that, and the tie-ins to freaking Revelation chapter 12, I'm sorry. I mean, I think that there's something that is eerily similar to what we're reading here, right? So this number of the beast, right? 666 is the same as 060606, and then contact tracing, which is HR 6666, and it's all tied together with Neuralink. And I wonder if they have a freaking picture of that damn robotic arm. There it is. How would you like this thing to implant little wires in your brain to freaking... All right, I'm going to flip back over to the stream so I can see what people are saying here. Okay, here we go. I'm back. So, all right, guys. So if you're still listening to me, which I hope that you are, I think that there's something really interesting about what I'm reading here. There's the Neuralink, there's the contact tracing, the body activated cryptocurrency, the vaccines, the C-19, the economic collapse. All this freaking crap is all tying together. Musk is a bad robot. He probably is a robot. Who knows? Anyways, I don't know. What'd you say up here? Hold on, Woody. Charlie, what do you think about the idea that the ritual that is being undertaken requires our attention, and it doesn't matter if it is good or bad? I've played with a lot of thought processes with this. I played with the thought that, a lot of these elites from going way the hell back to the ancient times conjured up this very elaborate storyline that they wanted to roll out eventually. I can't imagine how a conspiracy, that would be the all-time biggest conspiracy, and something that required probably over 2,000 years in the making. Or no, it'd be more like 3,000 years in the making, which I don't really buy that, because what I know of consciousness and what I know of spirituality and things like that, I just feel like there's something more vast. It's not something that people would have conjured up. It would have actually been something more like, not necessarily extraterrestrials, but interdimensional beings that are much more advanced, coming up with an idea. Honestly, I don't think that the storyline that we get out of Daniel and Revelation is that. I don't think it's a deception. I think it's more it's a clue or something that this vision that was given to John and Daniel were able to write down and collaborate in that sense, and they were able to see things that were unseeable unless they're given by some higher power, which obviously angels presented these things to them in the storylines, but they said it was a message from God or from Jesus or whatever. So again, I don't like to be that guy that presents my bias to the world and just rejects all other information out there. I'm not like that. I actually feel like I want to analyze these things and really consider things for what they are, because it's very important information with high implications. There's a lot of implications for those that haven't committed their life to God. I actually feel like it's important that we really take seriously our role in this world. I feel like what we are here for is vital. It's very important. Oh, is it Liza or Lisa? What do you think of all the weird things going on in the sky the past month? If that other, that's another reason that they want us inside. Interesting. I heard that there was a comet that was flying by, which I didn't actually get to see. And I didn't even think about it because we had like nothing but rain and clouds going on. So yeah, anytime you see an astrological event or something, Revelation chapter 12 is talking about this astrological event that takes place. There's a sign in the heavens, and I believe that plays an important role in how we analyze reality. I think that there are signs of astrology. See, I'm not like that guy that believes in astrology and everything that I do. Like, oh, we can just look at the stars and we'll see the future. I'm not the guy that believes that way, but I think that there's something to it. That there's something. Now, the other thing could be that there's like freaking UFOs or something up there flying around. And yeah, what if there was a lot of weird shit like that? That would be crazy. And yeah, there's a lot of things that I speculate as to what's happening and why people should need to stay home. And it is weird, like all the, they talk about flatten the curve and all that. I was talking to some family members earlier today, and they were talking about flattening. I was saying, oh yeah, they've been talking about flattening the curve, but I think that it's going to, we're going to have a second wave. Bill Gates has been talking about the second wave. And, my sister-in-law said, well, we had 100 new cases in Idaho just this last couple days. I'm like, what? Are you sure? She's like, yeah, they all happened in Twin Falls. And Twin Falls is like 150 or 180 miles from here. So, like we don't have them here. And again, I've had people say that I work with that, like there's a girl that freaking was off for a while and she was saying her husband got it. So she had to stay home. And I'm not saying COVID-19 is not real. I'm not saying that. It's obviously something. It could be this RNA sequence that is happening because of our body trying to reject the toxins that are in there. And it could be because freaking airplanes are dumping a bunch of shit on the sky, like chemtrails or something. And, some people are like possibly not susceptible to the shit that they're putting in the air, but maybe other people are. What if the people that are getting sick are the ones that just don't have the capacity or the tolerance to again, this is all speculation. I don't know. Let's see. I think that they are seeking to hide a change or retain their power through it. I think that it is a power grab for sure. Do you think they will come for the Amish because they seem to be a good example of a group successfully tapping out of the beast system? Yeah, that's why I'm like, I want to freaking become an Amish. I want to freaking go live in the hills somewhere. I don't know if they're going to come after the Amish. I don't know. But something tells me that they're already isolated for the most part. So I don't know. I mean, it is an interesting thought. So as far as my thoughts on kind of this, I'm not really worried about what's happening with the virus per se. And when I say virus, I mean, it could be the exosomes that are being evacuated from our cells, and it emits this this RNA sequence that you can actually that comes out of our mucous membranes. I've listened to Andrew Kaufman. I've listened to several other doctors that are legit. Like Rashid Buttar or whatever. he's been talking a lot about the exosomes and RNA sequence that comes from. So obviously, there's some sort of what do you call it? Like some sort of toxins that are affecting the body. And I've heard people say that it's 5G too. Who knows? Let's see, Liza. Well, I think it's very interesting that in the Middle East there's no water or soap, and not everyone is dead if it's spreading like wildfire. You know, there's a lot of places that are not being affected very much, and they're not taking precautions the way that like Sweden, Norway. This, I don't know if like all of Scandinavia is like that, but I heard India is not even as affected. And so, like, funny thing, like India has like over 1 billion people, and they're not buying the bullshit. You know, they're not the ones. They're not like China and Europe and UK, like United States and all that. I don't know how it is over in Australia, but I don't know, Woody. What do you have to say? Or they're probably going along with all the bullshit the same way that we are. But I have a feeling that a lot of the countries that are not involved, or the ones that are completely just like whatever, it's no different or no worse. I mean, honestly, in a lot of ways, I feel like it is a power grab, and they definitely want to find a way to get people to submit to what they're doing. And it's working. It's definitely working for a lot of people. And it's not working for me, though. It's not working for my wife. Honestly, we're subjecting we're kind of the fear that I have is not the fear of the disease. The fear that I have is the fear of the repercussions of not bowing down or taking it in the freaking rear. I would rather, I don't even want to say it because I think my wife would hear me, and I don't want to disturb her with all my freaking shenanigans. Anyways, let's see. Canberra has low level of mask wearing. Where's Canberra? I never heard of it. And high level of official narrative acceptance. When you say official narrative acceptance, are you talking about the mainstream media information that they're putting out there? Yeah, I don't think mask wearing makes a difference at all. I think mask wearing is freaking BS. Let's see. It's hard to call because I think there's something about the time that is reflected in body effects, but the explanation is a cover. I'm trying to wrap my head around how you're saying that, Woody. Let's see. I guess I didn't know Australia's capital's Canberra. Oh yeah, of course. Yes, they do believe the news, and I kind of figured that. The funny thing is, I live in Idaho, where we're a bunch of freaking podunk type hillbillies that live out. We're isolated as far as like a major city is concerned. I mean, we don't really have a lot of surrounding major cities. We're kind of out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, the closest major city we have to us is like Portland, Oregon, or Salt Lake City, Utah, or Reno, Nevada. And all of those towns are like 4 or 5 hours away, or 6 hours away driving. And so Boise is kind of isolated in that sense. And, our metropolitan area has about 500,000 people. And, I don't know how, again, I don't want to speculate too much with a lot of this stuff. It's easy to speculate. It really is. And it's easy to sound like a damn fool when you're trying to sort through these things. And, you know, I definitely sound like a fool to a lot of people that I've been talking to at work and stuff. I mean, I'm close to a lot of the people at work, but they kind of know me as like kind of a psycho, like freak that only wants to talk about conspiracies or conspiracy theories or whatever. And I can tell that some of the people that I've been talking to are acting like uncomfortable now, like with some of the stuff I've been bringing up to them, because they're like, dude, I mean, they have this attitude of like, I would rather not hear what you have to say because what you're saying is disinformation or something like that, which they've never actually looked into any of this stuff. Excuse me. Anyways, but yeah, so Idaho's kind of like, you know, a bunch of gun yielding Second Amendment, like stand up for your rights kind of people. So I get to, you know, have the privilege of being around more people like that. Now, granted, there's a lot of people that are stupid and, you know, sheep or whatever. But anyways, oh, so you live in Texas. It's been about 90 degrees this past week, and you can see people walking in the streets wearing masks. I have to really look at them, and I think that it has this world, or what is this world coming to? I totally agree with you. I mean, I work at a place where it's mandated to wear a mask, and I'll tell you what, probably you know, when they have this vaccine come out, it's probably going to be mandated that unless I get a vaccine, they're probably not going to let me work. That day will suck when they start doing that. But I mean, I can't sit there and worry about that all the time. Whoa. Jeremy Forbes. Oh yeah, don't talk truth. Jeremy Forbes, how are we related? I was joking. If you didn't know, my last name is Forbes. As you can see, 4BZ means Forbes. 4BZ truth, Forbes. Anyways, are you my cousin or something? I'm just kidding. I don't know. Forbes is obviously not like the last name Smith or something. It's not very often I get to see a Forbes pop onto my live stream. So anyways, it's nice to see you here, Jeremy. But yeah, so any of this stuff, I mean, truth, yeah, some people could say it's subjective, but honestly, a lot of the freaking crap that I've been seeing, there's only one way you can interpret it. You just have to open your eyes and ears, and then you'll be able to see it. So anyways, I don't know. Do you guys have any questions or anything that you want to address? Anybody want to pop onto the stream and say hello? Because I'm willing to share a link to anybody that might want to pop on. Yeah, well, thanks. I appreciate it. Liza, I think that you were on Gypsy Road, right? Isn't that where you... I think I've seen you over there. Or maybe Brian Stavely. I've interviewed both of those channels, or I've been interviewed, I should say. No, I like to talk about this stuff a lot. I tie in spirituality and Christianity and different stuff like that. A lot of people are like, meh, about Christianity. They don't want to really hear it. But then there's other people that don't want to hear the freaking conspiracy talk. Now, just in the interest of I'm going to actually post a link in the chat. If anybody wants to pop on, you can just follow this. If anybody wants to share any of their thoughts or whatever on this topic, I'm willing to share my forum for a little bit. But again, nobody has to, obviously. Huh. So Jeremy says, my Twitter account is for BS. LOL, no joke. I saw you on Brian's channel. Sweet. Brian Stabley, I would imagine. Yeah. Maybe I'll just start calling you Cuz. My Forbes brother or my cousin. I'm just kidding. I hope my wife's not listening to me.
I am.
Don't you listen to me. Get out of here.
Out of control.
Shut up. Get out of here. I don't want to. No, I'm just kidding. Huh?
Can I say hi?
Yeah? Does anybody want to meet my wife? I have like heck yeah, man. Come on in. Can't really I don't even know why I have my headphones on. I'm not even listening. All right. This is Kelsey.
Hi.
She's carrying my my baby. You want to sit on my lap?
No.
Come on.
I have a bunch of groceries to put away, but hi everybody. Nice to see you.
All right. You can hang out if you want, but otherwise get out of here. I'm just kidding.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. I freaking totally have a kink in my leg. Oh. Anyways, that was my wife, Kelsey. I think I need some
Chaz,
what?
I will tell you the cost of meat has gone way up.
Oh crap, we have confirmation that the cost of meat has gone up like they predicted. Just like my video was talking about on
Something I used to pay $8 for was $16.
oh crap, something that was $8 cost $16. What was it? Ground beef or something?
No, it was a pound and a half of carne asada.
A pound and a half of carne asada was freaking $16, which was normally like $4. BS. Anyways, I'm gonna keep talking about my stuff over here. Anyways, guys, so sweet. So Jeremy Forbes is my cousin in Wisconsin. I'm just kidding. How do you know we're not related? What the heck, man? You don't want to be called cuz? Is that what you're saying? I can call you bro. What up, bro?
No, Daddy.
Bruh. Anyways. I guess the only reason I need my headphones is to if someone jumps on the chat, but I'm used to chatting it. If anybody wants to click on that link, you can chat with me and I'll just otherwise I'm if nobody gets on with me, I'm probably gonna wrap it up here in about 5 minutes. But just to kind of recap some of the stuff I was talking about, Daniel 7 talking about the 4 beasts, and then Revelation 13 talking about the 7-headed beasts with 10 horns, which is basically it's not the beast system that they're talking about, the mark of the beast. It is the New World Order, and the dragon with 2 horns, or that spoke like a dragon, but look, I forgot. Anyways, but that's the mark of the beast, or the beast system that says worship the seven-headed beast with 10 horns. So I believe that the government systems that rise up are this. I believe that the beast, when they talk about the Antichrist and the false prophet, I don't really think that they're individuals, by the way. I think that they're probably systems that rise up. They could be have one ruler or something over them. I'm not sure, but I still think it is a government system that is under. When do you do your show live? I'm doing my show live right now. But typically I'm not, I don't always do live streams, but I pop in there here and there. And every once in a while I actually, I do live streams with other interviews. In fact, I'm going to have a really cool interview here pretty soon. Well, I have two really awesome interviews coming up. So if anybody hasn't, like Liza or Jeremy or anybody, if you haven't heard any of my near-death experience stuff, I have a panel of people that are coming on the 31st, I believe. Wait, what was the date? Hold on, I gotta look at my phone because I don't remember. Oh, for anybody that hasn't seen this, that came in later, says, sorry, so COVID is certificate of vaccination identification. Interesting, huh? I don't know if that's true. For current events to fit Revelation, what needs to happen in the near term? When will the temple be rebuilt? Well, I have something to say about the temple, by the way. And then what will constitute wars and rumors of wars? Hold on a second. Hey, Kellis, will you get the dogs and let them go potty? Yeah. Indy's screaming at me. So as far as the temple is concerned, you know, if you actually go into second, what is it? I'm trying to remember Samuel, 2 Samuel. It talks about Samuel, the prophet, comes to King David and says that I had a dream or a vision that basically says that you're going to, or your offspring will build a temple. And I wonder if I can find that real quick. In fact, so the reason they built, I'm just going to kind of explain it, and then maybe I'll pull it up here in a few. But basically, it says that the temple was not supposed to be built of stone, but it was supposed to be built of flesh. So they're saying that the freaking body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. So when there was a great rising up of the people or the true temple, I'm going to say right now that, like, when if I relate this to like the age of Aquarius or something, you know, back in 2012 they were talking about the Mayan calendar ending or whatever, and or resetting or whatever that might look like. But around 2009, I think that a lot of people were really starting to, even before that, there was a great awakening that was happening. And so this image of the temple doesn't necessarily have to be a building, but it could be. They're already freaking planning the temple and building. They're planning on freaking erecting the temple actually within the next several years probably, but they've been talking about it for a while. So I don't really know what to think of it. But again, I think it alludes, the physical temple doesn't necessarily have to be the building, but it could be the body or this temple of the Holy Spirit, which is right here. So I don't know if that's true, but if you, maybe I'll just quickly pull up Samuel. I want to say 2 Samuel 7, maybe. Liza, I'll answer that question in a second. I'm going to actually look. I'll just read from, let's see. So it's, I think, 2 Samuel chapter 7. Oh, yeah, right here. It says, now it came to pass when the king was dwelling in his house, and the Lord had given him rest from all his enemies around. And the king said to Nathan the prophet, it was Nathan, not Samuel, sorry. See now, I dwell in the house of cedar, but the Ark of the Covenant dwell in. Okay, Nathan's saying that the Ark of the Covenant shouldn't dwell in the house of cedar anymore, or the tent of curtains. Nathan said to the king, "Go, do all that is in your heart for the Lord that you will that is with you." But it happened the night that the Lord came to Nathan, saying, "Go and tell my servant David, thus saith the Lord, would you build a house for me to dwell in? For I have not dwelt in a house since the time that I brought the children of Israel up from Egypt, when even in that day, but have moved about in a tent, and it came and in a tabernacle." I'm sorry, I stutter through this stuff. Whenever I have moved about with the children of Israel, have I ever spoke a word to anyone from the tribe of Israel, whom I commanded? Blah, 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 blah. Now, therefore, thus shall you do, or say to my servant David, thus says the Lord of hosts, I took you from the sheepfold. Man, I'm trying to get to the point that I was trying to, I don't want to read through the whole freaking Bible to, anyways, I'm just going to, okay, I'll answer your question, Liza. Who do you think the Antichrist is? I'm just going to say right now, the Antichrist is not only an individual. It is an Antichrist system or an Antichrist spirit. So you have different people that took on the Antichrist spirit, and they operated from the spirit of Antichrist. So anybody you could say that anybody that's for me is with me, but anyone who is against me is Antichrist, is kind of the concept that Jesus projected. Now, I don't know who the Antichrist is represented now, but if you actually consider the way that our world is, they're totally rejecting Christ. I mean, Jesus is not embraced by the mainstream, if you ask me. So I think that in a lot of ways, this world order that is being established before our eyes is established on an antichrist system. So that's my speculation. I don't know for sure. Jeremy says the first seal is open, in my opinion. Now the seals are in chapter 6. Oh man, I'm gonna have to flip over there real quick. Bear with me a second. So Revelation chapter 6. By the way, I appreciate you guys being interactive. I always appreciate. Wait, I'm just going to do it this way. Just remember, most of the stuff in Revelation is very symbolic. Very, I mean, it's not actual stuff. I mean, at face value, you could take something from it, but there's a lot of secret meanings here. Like the seals here is, I watched, so Now the seals are actually talking about the 4 horsemen, the first, in which I made a video about, which I was planning on making another video, but I haven't gotten around to doing it yet. And I'm actually considering getting into the book of Revelation just as a whole, because this stuff is loaded, and I actually want to, there's a lot to take away from this stuff. It really is. So yeah, the first I watched as the Lamb opened the first of the 7 seals, and I heard one of the 4 living creatures saying, look, and then there before me was a white horse, and the second seal was a fiery red horse. The third seal was a black horse. The 4th seal was death horse, or pale horse. So yeah, those are definitely, yeah, heck yeah. I'm happy to, honestly, I'm not like a Bible answer man by any means, but I definitely have been looking into a lot of this stuff all my life. And I really started taking it seriously when I was, right after I first got married, pretty much. I've been married for about almost 13 years. So, Revelation 13. What kind of, what are the chances of that? I'm just kidding. No, I mean, if you have any questions, anybody, I'm more than happy to talk it over with people. I'm not the I'm going to slam the Bible on your head kind of person. I don't think that people understand the Bible the way that it should be interpreted in a lot of cases. I really don't, because a lot of the symbology in the Bible is, a lot of people will take things at face value, even though it's not, the underlining reason for why the things are being written down. I think that there's a lot of symbology that's overlooked, and that actually is another aspect of my channel that I really want to start getting into. Not just the symbology of the Bible, but the symbology of the mythology, symbology of mythology. And there's a lot of stuff to take from that. There's a lot of videos on YouTube where you can hear people recording sounds of the sky that sound like trumpets. It's true. I've actually heard it. Not firsthand, but I have seen a lot of videos like that. I think some of them are fake, but some of them are real. And I don't know what's real and what's not on those, but I've heard a lot of. So that is interesting. That and I remember, gosh, yeah. If you get a chance, pull up some YouTube videos saying sounds or trumpets from the heavens or something like that. And there's a lot of videos that actually were being put out. Probably, gosh, I remember 2008, 2009. I was looking into a lot of this stuff, and I was, people were putting out trumpet sounds coming from the sky back then, and a lot of animals dropping dead and stuff like that. And I think that a lot of this technology that they've been putting up, and like the chemtrails and all that crap, I feel like maybe a lot of that stuff has actually caused a lot of the deterioration of health, and the animals dying and things like that. I wish that I was having a conversation with my neighbor today. Like on one side of my house over here, I have like-minded neighbors that think like me. They're kind of hippies, to be honest, which we think a lot alike, like as far as being homesteaders, like have big gardens and things like that. But my other neighbor on the other side, I've never known anybody further from the way I think, as far as like he says he's like some sort of authority on that, like this. In fact, I asked him if he wanted to come on a live stream or a video chat with me so we can discuss the COVID-19, and he actually said that he wouldn't do it because he's already had a lot of people calling him and trying to. Apparently, he said he had a meeting with our city mayor and the fire chief as to what they should do and like how long they should lock down the parks and stuff. And like, so he had some sort of like, you know, influence on our city being shut down. I'm like thinking, damn, this guy's an idiot. But I hope he comes back and listens to my video and he can know how I truly feel about him. Anyways, I wish that you could have heard some of the crap he was saying. Oh my gosh. I didn't think that people actually were out there that existed that talked like this, but I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy actually believes the narrative that is actually being put out there, and he's part of the reason why people believe that. Really? I don't know if it's, sometimes I think he's just a bullshitter, so I don't really know if it's true, but it seems like he's a know-it-all about just about everything, so I don't know. Oh, my sister, another Forbes, LOL, she has recordings of the trumpet sounds. Really? Really? I'd like to hear some of the trumpet sounds. Was it, did you say you're in Wisconsin, Jeremy? Let's see. So, Liza, you say, I also think that we are all on our own path, and what we read in our Bible is different to everyone because it's what we meant, or what it means to people or each person. I don't think that there is a wrong or a right. I mean, I'm not 100% sure about that. I think that a lot of it's subjective, but I can't help but think that there's absolute truth out there. And so maybe you can read something out of the Bible and it was meant for you specifically, and other people wouldn't pick up on that. I believe that that's probably true. But I also think that there is information in there that is misconstrued based on somebody's projected belief system that is actually incorrect, because all they're doing is projecting their traditions onto the words. So like their religious belief system, they're gonna like say, oh, let's see if I can fit my little cookie cutter belief system on top of the words. And I just don't like to look at things like that, because I don't think anybody should project their belief onto words that are written. But then again, sometimes you can relate better to things if you have a specific filter of interpretation. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that there's a right way and that's my way or something. I'm not saying that. But I do say that there is a right and a wrong way to look at things for sure. But again, maybe that's my opinion. I don't like to project out there like I'm the only one that knows what's going on. But let's see. Dark Glasses Woody says, I agree. We all have a heart to guide us. See, and Woody and I have had these conversations, and honestly, I can't help but agree with what you're saying. I believe that we do have a heart, and we are, we're given our own intuition about things. And let's see. Let's see. There was a wrong and a right in what we do to others, though. So yeah, there's certain perspective that actually is wrong and there is right, but then there's other things that are subjective, I think. So Jeremy is in Wisconsin. Yeah, have her send it to me. Here, I'll send you my email or my email. Typo. Let me fix it. I think that's right. Okay, go. Okay, so Jeremy, you can grab that email and have her send me videos or whatever, or she can just post a link or something in one of my videos on my YouTube channel. It doesn't matter. I don't care. One way or the other is fine. But yeah, Liza, I do appreciate you, asking these questions. I always like to dialogue about anything. It doesn't matter. I hate to make it sound like I'm the one that has answers. I like to contrast belief systems, and like I've said in many other videos, that truth is a big pie, right? You have a big pie, it's round, and you can have slices taken out of it. And I think each person has their own slice of the truth pie, but nobody has the full pie. But then again, I always say, kind of like the yin and yang kind of thing. The yin and the yang. I'm not trying to say I understand this model, but I believe that there is a dark side of that pie as well. So like you have the pie that has slices of deception in there as well. So I think that if you're operating from deception, I think some people have more of that pie than others. And I think that everybody to some degree has a slice of deception. I think I even am eating from that freaking deception pie, I don't want to. In fact, that's the reason I have this channel, is because I want to sift through this freaking crap so that I can unpack all the stuff that is out there, and then have you guys kind of sift through it with me so that we can, understand, these big picture things, like the freaking trumpets coming out of the sky. That's freaking crazy. So, but again, I projected my view of this Mark of the Beast system, or the modern day Mark of the Beast. The modern day Mark of the Beast system. I appreciate you coming on here, Liza. Yeah, check in more often. I actually, I haven't been as active lately because, well, early spring is planting season for me, and I've been working in my garden a lot, especially during the evening and on weekends. And I actually haven't really had time to do stuff like this. But as things start warming up, I'm going to want to be in my air-conditioned house. And this time frame is usually pretty good for me. It's hard for me to get interviews on this time, just because, I've been having more interviews. And honestly, I just emailed somebody today, and I've been going back and forth as far as getting a time frame for this one guy. He's like a doctor that talks about consciousness. And I was just introduced to him just the other day, and I don't really remember his name right off the top of my head. Hold on a second. Dr. Andrew Silverman. Andrew Silverman. I think we're going to have an interview soon. If you haven't heard of him, he's actually very knowledgeable on consciousness, and it's really interesting discussion. And then I'm going to have a panel of near-death experience discussion from three other guys. So there's going to be 4 of us talking about near-death experiences. that is going to be crazy. It's going to be really good. And if you don't know anything about near-death experiences, I've probably invested myself into, researching. I've probably gone through 400 or 500 near-death experiences, whether I read or listened to or whatever. And there's no real consensus, from what I can tell, but it really depends on the interpretation of the near-death experience. I think each experience is different and unique, but at the same time, they're, I don't know, they're all different in their own way, like a snowflake or something. I think of the image of a snowflake. Each snowflake is different, but very unique and amazing. So, Camden just got here. Is this false prophecy? Oh, that's a good question. Should I say absolutely not, or should I say yes? I mean, it's kind of like that sounds like a trap, if you ask me. I'm going to say that, yeah, it's definitely false prophecy. I don't know. Anyways, Camden, if you just got here, I'll just kind of recap for you. Daniel chapter 7. Here, I'll flip over there real quick, and I'll just freaking show you again. Daniel chapter 7 is talking about the 4 beasts that come out of the whatever. Let's see. So where is it? The first beast was like a lion that had wings like an eagle. Blah blah blah. The second beast was like a bear. Okay, so just keep in the back of your mind that there's 4 beasts. Those same exact beasts are combined in Revelation chapter 12. Crap. Hold on. Let me go back to this. That's for you, Camden. Okay, so it says, oh shit, sorry. 13 is what I meant. 13. Okay. So, is it inappropriate for me to say shit when I'm reading the Bible? Anyway, sorry. Let's see. Beasts out of the earth. Oh, that was... Okay, so the dragon stood on the shore of the sea. I saw the beast coming out of the sea, and had 7 heads and 10 horns. So that's talking about the 7, Daniel chapter 7. 4 beasts combined into one. I was trying to build a case for that being the New World Order, or the combined governments system. We have cryptocurrency system using body activity data, W00 2020, or WO 2020 060606. This is the Bill Gates freaking chip being implanted into your arm or your hand so that you could communicate with this cryptocurrency body activity data system, which is actually through the blockchain digital identity alliance ID 2020. And then it says that you'll receive a mark on your right hand or your forehead. So the right hand is this, and then the forehead is this. It's called Neuralink. I guess in some ways you could say that this is false prophecy. Who knows? I just think it's an interesting tie-in. And then the other thing is this freaking thing is the scorpion that is trying to implant these freaking things in your brain. Really? there you go. So, sort of a build-up. Did you listen to the whole thing, or well, hold on? You don't want to mess with me? Okay. Well, anyways. Thanks for listening, Camden. You can agree with me or not. I don't really care. Honestly, a lot of this stuff is not like for sure. I'm not like grounded in my belief system. I'm just trying to say that these are interesting signs that I find patterns, right? And they may or may not be anything. But, oh, the other thing I forgot to tell you is the contact tracing was HR6666, and the cryptocurrency body activated data, or whatever activity data, is WO 2020-060606. Now, if you don't think that that is relevant at all, I just think it's like they're trolling us then, because it's eerily like similar to these things that are actually being presented in the book of Revelation. But if you don't agree with it, that's fine. I mean, these other people here might agree with me, they might not. But again, like I was telling you, the pie. This is the truth pie. You can have your own piece of the pie. Not everybody has the truth as a whole. And in fact, I don't think anybody has the full truth, right? So let's see. Big scared, but a lot of stuff has to happen first. Revelation 6. Let me check. I might be totally wrong. Okay, so you checked in a little bit late. I was in Revelation chapter 6, talking about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and I believe that it's not all in sequential order. I think that maybe the seals of Revelation is the same thing as the beasts of Revelation. They're just 2 different descriptions of the same kind of thing. Or maybe they're the same things happening simultaneously. But again, I don't know. Could be false. I don't know. It just, a lot of these things are really interesting to me. I just think it's an interesting pattern to see like this blockchain digital identity alliance and the freaking Neuralink, and all these things are like they're trying to link our brains to the freaking cloud so you can upload your brain. I don't know if you remember like Genesis chapter 6 when it talked about the Nephilim or the giants or the men of the ancient or whatever. They were talking about how there was a lot of corruption in the world. Actually, it's 5. Genesis chapter 5. It says there's a lot of corruption in the world, and that Noah was the only one perfect that was perfect in his generation. And so basically, it said that all flesh was corrupt in the world. Maybe it was chapter 6. That all flesh was corrupt in the world, and that's the reason that God brought a flood to the earth. Now, it also says in Revelation that God is going to either allow or bring destruction to the world with fire. And he destroyed mankind because of the corruption that came from Genesis chapter 6. And if you're not familiar with the Nephilim, it said that these sons of God came down and mated with the daughters of men and created an offspring of giants or Nephilim. And if these heavenly beings, I'm going to say, angels or the aliens or whatever you want to call them came down and freaking had sex, or they created an offspring through human DNA, you might say. So now we have a race of hybrid beings, and they populated the earth. So now the only left perfect in his generation was Noah's family. So, or Noah and his family. So if they were the only ones that were saved from this quote unquote flood, which I also want to talk to you about the flood stuff too, because I feel like a lot of people are like, why the hell would God flood the earth and kill everybody? I think this guy, Steve Quayle, he has a saying that Genesis chapter 6 is the Rosetta Stone of how to interpret the Bible. And Genesis chapter 6 is literally talking about the corrupted seed of man. And it was actually God flooded the earth to kill off the corrupted seed. And it resurged again when, you know, these, like when David and freaking Joshua in the Battle of Jericho, you know, these guys came out and freaking started killing off people. And, you know, they talk about there's a lot of genocide that happened in the Bible. And, you know, and that's true. In fact, it was very disturbing to me when I first read the book of Joshua, because it was very disturbing how they killed a lot of these people and children and animals and stuff that were corrupted. And but when you look at it in terms of God's creation, and now basically, oh, I just realized that I have more people messaging me. Hold on. Tom. Hey, no problem. Thanks for stopping in, Tom. Real quick before I pop this one up here, Jeremy, I actually, what was I saying? Gosh, anyways, I'll just listen to, or look at this. Okay, the HR 6666 is a number assigned to all bills presented to Congress before it gets to a final written. All bills start with HR 6666. Then they get their official number. Okay. So are you saying that the HR 6666 is just the initial number that they get, but then they're changed later? I mean, it could be that this is nothing. I don't know. It's interesting to me that there's a correlation there, but it could be nothing. I don't want to be that guy that just hypes up everything that is maybe nothing. Okay. So what I was talking about the corruption of the seed of man. If you actually look at here, let me flip back here real quick again. Okay, so Elon Musk, Neuralink. Oh, look at that guy. You can definitely trust that guy. So Neuralink is an AI brain chip. Basically, they said it's going to be within a year that they're going to be ready. Let's see. So they're basically saying they're going to upload your brain to like the computer, and how they're going to do that is they're going to start brain mapping your you know, your neural synapses or whatever, and they're going to start patterning your brain and then upload it to like the cloud or whatever. And then they're going to implement that chip with this this device. It's like a surgical arm or whatever. Freaking crazy. But I don't know if you consider that legit or not, but I don't know. I'm getting close to 2 hours. I'm going to go for maybe another 10 minutes, unless somebody wants to jump on and say hello. Come on, guys. Come on. Come on. Posting the link right now. There you go. Anybody want to say hi to me for a minute? Dialogue about stuff. Freaking Camden. Bring it. Bring it, brother. Or Jeremy. Talk to another Forbes. Tom, do you have anything that you want to bring to the table? I don't care. You don't have to freaking get on here, but I just thought it's pretty cool to be able to talk to people around the world or across the world. Let's see. Antichrist, who exercises all the authority of the first beast in its presence. It makes the earth and its inhabitants worship. Yeah, that's exactly what I was reading on Revelation chapter 13. Let's see. Signs, even making fire come down from heaven to the earth in front of people. 14, and by the sign that its second beast is allowed to work in the presence of the beast, it deceives those who dwell. Oh, I like this. This is awesome. Oh, crap! I'm getting a bunch of. I think they've been getting us ready for the Minority Report and artificial intelligence. It's going to be like iRobot or the Matrix. I really think that this is like the Matrix, but I don't know. Let's see. Let's read this one. This is what has to happen before first before the mark comes. So we got to wait for it all. So I'm in agreement with you that this is just the preliminary stages of. This is the initial rollout of something that they're going to start using indefinitely. So this freaking power grab that they're doing with C-19 and the stay-at-home order and all this other crap, and then the freaking contact tracing. I think that I think it's all coming to a head. It's like birth pains. Dude, don't be freaking scared. There's nothing to be scared about. Honestly, I'm in total agreement with that Bible verse that says, "Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all the other stuff will be added to you." You got to seek first God's kingdom. So like these government systems that they're talking about that are going to rise up, and these beasts or whatever, you know, I believe I look to God's kingdom like it's a freaking government. God's the higher government. And, you know, God's going to be operating through his people. And, you know, and it says that we're going to be living in God's presence in heaven or something like that. And honestly, a lot of it sounds sensational and like crazy talk, but honestly, there's a lot of interesting stuff that goes along with this. And by the way, Liza, I appreciate you, you know, being somebody that doesn't necessarily subscribe to this way of thinking, but open to hearing, you know, other perspective. And that's exactly what I've been doing. I'm not closed-minded to anybody's perspective necessarily. Let's see. That's the spirit coming out of you for me right there. Well, I try to operate from the spirit sometimes. I don't want this just to be a bunch of I don't want this just to be a bunch of head knowledge per se. I don't want to start using Christianese because sometimes that comes across arrogant or something. But yeah, God isn't corrupt. So I'm going to say right now that I don't necessarily think that all this is going to come like the end of the world. You know, the interesting thing, if you actually look at the ages, like the historical ages, we actually have history that goes back roughly 6,000 years, I'll say. And it's arguable that it could be older, but I'm not talking about the ages. I'm talking about the most recent age. So you have a 6,000 year. You know, the Bible talks. I'm just saying the age of the history that the Bible projects is 6,000 years. And when they talk about this, like. You know, a day is like 1,000 years, and a week is like 1,000 years. Also, there's a lot of symbolism in timescales, and there's a lot of meaning in. So, like this concept of 6,000 years, and the 7,000th year is actually the 7th day. When you look at it like a week, this is the week of this era, I guess you could say. The era that we're in is the 6,000 year reign, or not reign, 6,000 years, and then the 1,000-year reign. The 1,000-year reign is actually what I would call the Sabbath Millennium, and just like the week is, you know, Monday, or 6 days, and then the 7th day of rest. So they're gonna, and again, I don't really know all the ins and outs of this stuff, but I've been really looking into it lately, and I feel like it's important. A lot of this stuff is very important. And I feel like I should probably take this more seriously, and not just, take it seriously, but apply it to my life, I guess. And that's why I want to make these videos. That's why I want to interact with you guys. It's important to me. Not just discovering truth and understanding what truth is and what that actually means and the implications of it, but really just understanding my role here. And I think all you guys have a role as well. Very interesting, though. So we are under the Sabbath, not literally. Are you? What do you mean? Let's see. Okay, so this concept of being born again. You might disagree with me, because born again to me means being transformed by the renewing of your mind, if that makes any sense. Being born again is actually becoming new, a new creation. So if you are born again, does that mean you went up to the altar and said, "Dear Jesus, come into my heart"? Or does it mean that you went from that altar after that prayer and transformed your life? Because I think that being born again is actually enduring till the end. So those who endure to the end will be saved. And like a lot of people will say, "Oh yeah, I got saved back in 1982, back when there was that revival," or whatever. And then end up freaking like a week later going back to their drugs and all their freaking sinful lifestyle or whatever. And it's like, I'm wrapping up here in a little bit. But honestly, it didn't take. And Jesus actually describes that, like, you know, like the seeds are cast out on the soil. Some rocky soil, some fertile soil. Hold on, Camden. Don't jump to conclusions. I know a lot of people. I'm not saying that you don't repent of your sins. That's what I'm saying, is that you have to forsake. You have to die to yourself. Put the old man behind you, or whatever. So, and yeah, Jesus. So to ask Jesus into your heart, I actually feel like that is a concept of your heart projects what is inside you, and if you are operating with Jesus in your heart, that means that he is in the forefront of your expression. If you don't express Jesus with who you are, then who are you? I mean, I don't know. I just feel like it's easy to say, like, yeah, I got saved when I was like 8. You know, I'm talking about myself here. I said a prayer when I was 7. You know, Jesus, come into my heart. But later I realized that my life did not reflect that in any way whatsoever. And I don't necessarily think that that prayer didn't count in any way. But, oh, my man, David Wolf. Oh, I don't know if I like that picture. Hillary is not an attractive woman. Sorry. Anyways, thanks for stopping in, David. You're a little late because I'm starting to wrap up here. Okay, so Camden, you absolutely agree. You have to keep steadfast and strong. Ultimately, we don't know if we are called. Okay. So when it comes to the called, or the chosen, or the elect, or whatever, the bride of Christ, I think that will you stop? My freaking dogs are barking. Hey, sorry, shut my dogs up. I don't know. I gotta freaking. I like this train of thought, but I usually limit myself to 2 hours, and I'm over 2 hours now, and I'm starting to rile my dogs up because they're hearing like thumping around out in the other side of the house, so they're starting to flip out. So, anyways, I'll just maybe have a quick closing remark, and then I'm gonna freaking bail. So as far as the concept of being saved or whatever, honestly, I've kind of shifted my view on that as I've grown more, understanding of the concepts of my faith as I started looking at it in more depth. And I started realizing that the traditions of man actually infiltrated what we call the church. And then they started to corrupt. And that's the corruption that actually took root. And if you look at these symbologies that talk about the wheat, and then the freaking weeds growing within the wheat, it's like they wanted to uproot the wheat. All right, they wanted to uproot the weeds to get the weed out. I'm sorry, I'm saying that wrong. They wanted to uproot the tares or whatever so that they could have a more pure wheat field. But he said, no, don't pull up the wheat or pull up the tares because it'll pull up the wheat. So just let them dwell amongst the wheat. In other words, I feel like a lot of, I'm just saying, I should go through a lot of the symbolic meanings in the Bible, because there's so much freaking crap that I think that people don't truly understand. And, you know, a lot of people just operate from tradition. They don't operate from what the Bible's actually saying. Or maybe they just don't know how to interpret it because they're, I don't know, they're just whatever. All right, I'm going to read a few messages and I'm going to get going. Teaching your children down the right path is key. That is exactly what I'm trying to do right now. I have a 1.5-year-old, and I'm literally trying to. He is the most loving little man. I freaking love that little guy. And I can only instill love and lead by example. I'm trying my best. So I'm telling you what. And trying not to let a lot of this kind of stuff get in the way of my family, because I know that I'm very passionate about, you know, doing these videos and stuff, but, you know, sometimes people can let a lot of these passions get in the way of their family. I don't want to let that happen. So I think it is a good time to find beauty in the natural world and choose the lines you will not cross ahead of time. Thanks for the stream. Okay, Woody, I always appreciate when you show up, man. I really do. And sometimes I'm not like, you know, you'll write me these messages, and sometimes I feel guilty for not writing a longer response or something, because I feel like a lot of people, when they write me messages and stuff, like I just have a short response because I'm trying to spend time at home or whatever. But honestly, I really appreciate your input, man. I really do. And it's your stuff has been very valuable to me. A lot of the stuff you said to me in the past. Yeah, and Liza, again, I appreciate you stopping in, and I truly appreciate anybody that's willing to give their 2 cents. And you know, I'm always willing to hear what you have to say too. So yeah, if you haven't liked the video or clicked on the bell for notifications, definitely click on the bell. So like, I'm going to be doing these live streams more often, because I have a couple interviews lined up here pretty soon. So in fact, I have like several that I could potentially get on the books for like ASAP, but I just haven't been able to do it during the times that I was saying or hoping to do. But anyways, yeah, thanks, Liza. And then Jeremy, my brother from another mother. Book of Enoch explains a lot. Heck yeah, man, it sure does. And I'm actually one of those guys that totally considers the Book of Enoch something that surfaced at the time that it did for a reason. Yeah, I don't know, Camden. It may not be biblical in the sense that, you know, it's not in the canon of the Protestant church, but it's definitely in the canon of the Ethiopian church or Ethiopian Bible. And canon doesn't necessarily mean that it's absolute, in the sense that, you know, all the external books outside of the Bible. See, again, this to me is a traditional outlook on Christianity. It's like you reject all the other information that is that is not presented within the you know, the canon of the Bible. But I actually feel like If you are operating from the Holy Spirit and he gives you a dream or a vision or whatever, who's to say that you can't present that same kind of scripture? I'm not saying that. I'm not one that believes that all the gifts are done away with. I feel like gifts are given in the form of visions and dreams and prophetic, and the prophetic as well. So if there's no modern day prophets, that just doesn't make sense to me, because there's nothing to suggest that. I believe that people, if they're under the shadow of God's wing, or they're operating from the Holy Spirit, that the Holy Spirit is the same Holy Spirit that spoke to John and Paul and Ezekiel and Daniel and all those guys. I'm not saying that they're any more qualified than even I am. I'm not saying that I am, because honestly, I feel like I have a long way to go. I heard prophecy is in being fulfilled, and I have to look at more. Maybe it's God breathed scripture. Yeah, I mean, it could be. I don't know for sure, but I think the Book of Enoch, there's something to it. It even said in the Book of Enoch that it would not come. It'd be hidden or saved until the time of the end or something like that. And guess what? It's out in the open now. Wait, what are you saying is removed? Oh, the book of Enoch was removed from the canon. I see. Yeah, Camden, freaking thanks for stopping by. It's getting late for me. It's only 11:43 on my clock, but I still think that I'm going to get off here pretty soon. Last question: what do you think of the Mandela effect in the Bible? See, I was on Brian Stavely's, I interviewed Brian Stavely. I don't know if you saw that interview that I did with him, because I wanted to talk about Mandela effect, and he actually brought up stuff about the Bible. But again, so like the lion and the lamb thing, I'm just going to tell you right now, I think that the lion and the lamb thing might have been a traditional thing. Like there was a very popular hymn or something, or a song. When they talk about this concept of Christianese, a lot of Christians use the same terminology for things. And when traditionally speaking, people start saying things, it's like the telephone game. Like one person hears something, they memorize it, and then they share it to the next person, and then they memorize it, and it becomes some crazy thing. I don't know if that's true. I think that there probably is something to the Mandela effect, but I still think that maybe it goes back to the traditions or the communication that people have, that it's like the hive mind, you might say. Everybody kind of teaches everybody, and it becomes a tradition. And like even the Mr. Rogers thing, I feel like it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood was something that was just, I don't know if it was legit or not. Honestly, I'm not like shutting it down. I'm not trying to say the Mandela effect is not legit, but I feel like maybe, well, it kind of points to a Matrix type reality. And I believe that that's kind of what we are, and a certain kind of simulated reality. But I don't know. Voynich, where you been, man? I haven't talked to you since you freaking got your gallbladder out. Actually, I've talked to you on messages before, but you're the only one that freaking jumps on the stream when I give the link. But anyways, Jeremy Forbes is my freaking cousin, it turns out. Probably like 7 generations removed. I don't know. I'm just kidding. Anyways, I don't know, guys. I gotta freaking wrap this up. My poor wife is just, she's texted me. She wants me to get food and water for the dogs. And it's already almost, yeah, you showed up a little late, Voynich. I've already been here for over 2 hours. So anyways, you can go back and listen to some of this freaking crap if you want. Let me know if you ever want to do another live stream, or if you're up for it, freaking jump on the chat for a minute. Maybe I'm sorry, jump on the if you're up for about five minutes. This is the extent of my if you want to say hi, you can. I'm just saying. Just saying. Or David Wolf, I don't freaking care. I'll talk for about 5 minutes more, and then I'm done. Did you just get up early? Is it early over there? Oh, crap. No, you don't have to freaking get on if you don't want. It's pretty early over there. It's okay, man. Anyways, I appreciate you stopping in. Go freaking have a cup of coffee. Dude, I can't function without having at least at least 2 or 3 cups of coffee. So, anyways, all right. Well, everybody, I really appreciate you listening in, stopping by, freaking, leaving your comments. Again, I think that there's something to a lot of the stuff that I've been talking about. If you didn't actually hear a lot of the message of what I've been sharing, go back and listen to it. I was, for the first hour and a half, I was very descriptive in a lot of the stuff I was talking about. But if you want to go back and listen to it, just don't forget to like and, click on the bell. I know a lot of you guys are subscribers already, but click on the bell if you haven't gotten notifications. So, all right, I'll talk to you later. Have a good night, everybody. All right, bye-bye.